I gave a whole defense strategy. Like if I would have been representing Tiger Woods in the DUI, it would have been a straight PI strategy, straight up, rollover car accident, had a concussion, get an expert in. Those are similar symptoms of somebody who's under the influence. Get an accident reconstruction expert. This is how his body moved inside of the car. Yes, it's more than likely it's, that he hit his head in this fashion, whatever. I mean, it just sounds like the easiest case in the world to me. But the fact that...
Today on the Rainmakers Network Podcast, we have Castro from CD Law Pro. She is a fantastic rainmaker. She started her career at the state attorney's office. She did some civil defense work. Now she has opened her own law firm. She's doing criminal defense. She handles cases all throughout South Florida. You're going to want to watch this episode to learn a ton about criminal law and growing your own business here in South Florida.
Do that anymore.
What?
Yeah.
No way.
And there's a Zoom app.
How fast are you? How fast? What speed are you going?
I do Mad Max. It goes over the speed limit. It'll go like 12 or 15 over.
But you're going like 70 miles down the highway with no hands on the steering wheel.
No hands on the steering wheel. And the car is just knows. And it merges. It knows. It puts the blinker on. It knows exactly what it's doing.
You have to keep your eyes forward though, right?
You have to keep your eyes forward. So I can't really be like texting and driving, but I can like have it down here.
And you can make calls.
To make calls, exactly. And it's Bluetooth. Yeah.
Dude, you're crazy.
It's awesome.
It sounds awesome. Really?
Yeah.
Are you from South Florida?
I'm from Miami.
You're from Miami?
Yeah.
Why'd you go to West Palm? What was the reason you moved up north?
When I was leaving the state, I was only looking for money.
Yeah.
And when I left, the firm that was offering the most money was in North Palm Beach. Mm-hmm. And I had applied to tons. I had judges recommend me to positions and firms and stuff, but they were all like low blowing me because I had a criminal defense background or a criminal background, not a civil. And they're like, oh, well, you're coming into the civil world. It's different. You know how to triage, but you don't know how to deeply dive into a case. And I'm like, that's so disrespectful.
So did you open your own? So did you go into a firm for a period of time and then open your own firm?
Yeah, I did. I went into a civil defense litigation firm. And
which firm was it?
It's called Williams, Leininger and Cosby.
Okay.
Just some of the classiest, amazing attorneys. I mean, I learned so much from these guys.
How long were you with them for?
For a little over a year and change. And then at that point, first time doing billables. At that point, I was like, look at all this money I'm making for them. I'm making maybe 15% of what I'm bringing in for them.
Yeah.
And I just thought I could do it on my own.
Wow.
So, and I wanted flexibility.
Yeah.
I really wanted flexibility at that time in my life. I was like ready to settle down, get married, have kids.
Uh-huh.
That idea went out the door because I'm not married and I don't have kids and I'm no longer engaged. But now I've got this business that I'm running and I have the flexibility to live my life. It's actually the best thing that ever happened.
It is kind of interesting. Entrepreneurship is a weird thing. It's like everything that you're doing is you're doing for your business and for yourself.
Yeah.
So then like you can put into it what you truly want without like having any kind of negative feelings about how someone else is treating you.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Oh God, the only negative feelings I have are my clients and I have to put them straight all the time. That's pretty much it.
That's crazy. Are we rolling or no? We're rolling, yeah.
Nice.
Is it all criminal defense? Everything that you're doing right now is criminal defense, or are you taking other cases primarily?
Primarily criminal defense. I'm like in the process of hiring staff right now because I realize at this point there's no way to do it all on my own. So, with that, I have taken on a couple more cases that are civil now.
Got it.
So branching out there. It's fun. It's a different world.
It's a big risk. So just tell me, you started your career where?
At the Miami-Dade State Attorney's Office.
Okay.
Yeah. And I actually had externed at the Suffolk County DA's office in Boston. Prior to that, I did a full-time externship. So I was in court. I was arguing, kind of like a CLE would here.
Yeah.
I don't know if they do full-time CLEs here in Florida.
Like a certified legal intern?
CLI.
Yeah, CLI. They do like your last year. So I was a CLI my third year last semester of law school. for the entire semester. I was at the state attorney's office and I was trying cases.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's exactly the same situation that I had. And I feel like that was really my start.
What law school did you go to?
Vermont Law School.
Oh, you were at Vermont.
Yeah.
Okay. Where is that? What city?
It's in a town called South Royalton.
I think my wife went there.
No
Yeah,
way.
yeah, years ago. But I think it had a different name at one point. No,
Maybe.
it was like Pace or something like that. Or
Maybe it did.
I'm
That's
gonna ask her.
insane.
Yeah, she did. She went to Vermont Law School.
Wow. I don't meet many people.
No,
but
I know.
in the last year, I've met like 2.
It's a smaller school, right?
Yeah. It's a really small private school. There's maybe like 500 students in the school, maybe 800 students in the school. And the village itself is maybe population 2,500.
It's a village.
It's a village in a town, right? And it was beautiful. I thought I wanted to do environmental law. So, that's what brought me up there.
Okay.
And, I ended up being a prosecutor. But that experience, like no other.
Really?
Taking your textbooks up a mountain and sitting there with your dog and highlighting. And it's just beautiful. No distractions. There were no restaurants. There were no clubs. There was none of that.
And you had nature.
Nature.
Yeah, that does not sound like my law school. I was at Nova, and I lived in the library, and it smelled like old books, But
That's tough.
I got a lot done in that library. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I was never a library girl.
No.
When you first get into law school, there, you get to pick your desk. Did you get to pick your desk at the library?
No, we had to move around. I think I found my spot, and then that was it. But there was no
Yeah.
It was through you had to be first come, first serve, and then you
Right.
found your spot and you stayed.
Right, and you
tried.
establish, you put your pen cup holder there,
Yeah.
and now it's yours. In my law school, I was assigned a desk, and it was in the basement of the library, and there were no windows or anything, and I couldn't. So I studied at home. I lived across the street.
Really?
For me, convenience is everything. I live across the street from the courthouse.
Right now?
In downtown. I walk to court
Oh,
every
that's
morning.
great. Yeah, that's really, really nice.
The convenience or the value of time is really important.
It's
to me.
huge. Anyone who's out looking for a job and or going to a whatever it is, a law firm, it's they really should consider being close to that.
Yeah.
Because a very long commute can be exhausting. At least for me. Some people really like it though. I mean, I know some people they get in their car, listen to a podcast, it's like a time to clear their mind, but not me. I'm 10 minutes from my office, and that's it.
Yeah. When I worked at the state, when I lived in Miami, and I lived in Kendall.
Yeah.
And I drove every morning all the way to the state. I had to leave my house no later than 7 a.m. to get to the office without having to spend over an hour in traffic.
Yeah.
And on the way back,
yeah,
2.5 hours it took me.
Oh my God, I'd lose my mind.
Insane. What a waste of time. What a waste of your day. And then you get home and so you have to wait to leave the office until 7 p.m. at night.
Yeah, yeah.
Then you get there and you're like, maybe I can go to the gym, maybe I can have dinner, and then call it.
Doesn't sound like a good life.
It was not. It was not a healthy life.
Not a healthy life either. Yeah.
But it's the residency is what I call it. I mean, it's everybody. I don't think in the beginning of your career is the time to sit back and relax. It's the time to dive in.
I call it the residency too.
You do?
Yeah. As soon as you said that you were a prosecutor, I knew we'd have a lot in common. But
that's funny.
I've
never
been
heard
saying
anyone
that
say
to everybody. Anyone who's coming out of law school, I'm like, listen, it is the residency of being a lawyer. Doctors have to go. So tell me more about the state attorney's office. So you went from Vermont law, and then you came down back to South Florida.
Yeah.
And then you start the state attorney's office. Tell me, walk me through your career there.
Yeah. I loved county court. So you start in county court at the state attorney's office. That's misdemeanor court. And you build a family with those people. You're handling anything from petty thefts to DUIs even. So county court was really fun. I did that for about a year and a few months. And then I had the opportunity to apply to be a training attorney. So for the incoming, I could stay back 1 year. For the incoming ASAs, I would train them. And so I did stay back, and I ended up training the incoming ASAs for the next year. And at that point, when I became a trainer is when COVID started.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it became very virtual. We're all navigating this world that we haven't done before. Before COVID, it was lines out the door on trial day. You're checking in officers, you're checking in witnesses and victims and this and that, and someone's taking the docket out of your hand, and it's chaos.
Yeah.
But learning how to thrive in that chaos, it's a skill that you can't learn anywhere else. So I felt really bad for all those new incoming ASAs that didn't have that experience.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Now they're back in, and
Sure.
they got their footing. But so I stayed back as a training ASA for a year, and then I was promoted to juvenile. I was in the juvenile division for maybe 8 weeks before they were like, get out of here, we need you in felonies.
Yeah.
I probably had 6 to 8 trials in juvenile during the 8 weeks that I was there.
Wow.
Shout out to Dawn De Niro. She's such a great judge.
Yeah.
And that experience is amazing because they're all bench trials, those juvie trials.
Yep.
So you can pop them out quickly. You can do 2 in one day. And that was really efficient. I learned a lot at that stage. And then I went up to felonies, and I was first assigned to Judge Zach James' division,
Okay.
who I think is an amazing judge. He's one of my mentors today, and again, learned so much. There, I was a double seat. I had my highest caseload in that division, 368 felony cases.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
368.
People don't even realize like the caseload that prosecutors have, and to be able to quickly kind of know what's going on, and then also make sure that the witnesses are lined up. You have everybody. You got your police. You got your independent witnesses. It's hectic.
Yeah, it's hectic. I mean, at the beginning of that trial, it's on you, right?
Yeah.
You got to be ready to start it. Maybe the defense has an extra day or two while you get
They
through your
always have
case in
time.
chief
Yeah.
to zip things up, but you got to be ready to go. And if your victim's not there, if your witness isn't there, it can be chaotic. And as you're learning, because it's the residency.
Yeah.
As you're learning, you make mistakes and you figure it out, and you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't get the latent fingerprints, and you're like, I gotta find out how to do this. So, you figure it out. It's all a learning curve, but once it all comes together and you really start to see the whole puzzle, it's beautiful. It's very empowering.
Did you try a lot of cases when you were at the state attorney's office?
Yeah, I did. I tried tons of cases and different variety of cases too, from misdemeanor cases to felony cases. I think my favorite case that I tried was a trafficking case, and it involved a dog. So there was a sniff involved, and the dog came to court and everything for the trial, and that was really fun. Of course, the jury loved it. The interesting thing about that trial is that during voir dire, are you a voir dire or a voir dire?
I say voir dire.
Voir dire.
I don't say voir
Me
dire.
too.
I mean, if I'm feeling like, if I'm feeling Southern, I might
fancy
throw out
schmancy.
voir dire, but I can't pull it. I can't pull it. You know what I mean? And I say, I like to joke. I like to say like prosecutor,
Yeah.
but I can't, I'll do it. And then it doesn't sound good.
Yeah, me too. I'm voir dire. So during voir dire in that trial, we had a panel of people that I thought we had a really good group, and we had used maybe 3 of our preemptory challenges.
Yeah.
And we had 6. The judge, I don't know, maybe was confused about whether it was a felony or a misdemeanor. I'm not exactly sure, but we go to use our 4th preemptory on the criminal defense attorney that's sitting in my panel.
Yeah.
Who practices before this judge and has done so for the past 40 years.
Man.
And he says, nope, you can't use it. I go, but judge, okay, fine, we won't use our preemptory, but what about we cause him because there's got to be bias. Maybe he wants to favor you. Maybe who knows?
Yeah.
Nope. And I was like, okay. So we go forward on this case with a criminal defense attorney on my trial.
Really?
10-minute guilty.
Oh my God.
The fastest guilty verdict I ever had.
That is a good story. That's a good story. Like if you, as a prosecutor, to have a criminal defense lawyer that practices there, like, and I bet like the judge was like, just let him cook. Let him cook. Let this guy get on the panel.
Exactly.
Wow. It just shows that like just because you're a criminal defense lawyer doesn't mean like you're going to automatically say this person's not guilty if like the overwhelming evidence is they're guilty.
Absolutely. And, obviously he milked that a bit, and he had some articles, put out about how he was the first criminal defense attorney on a jury, which is great.
Smart move.
Very, very smart.
Yeah.
And he discussed that. He was like, I mean, the guy's guilty. There's no getting around that one. And when you're with a group of other people, you're going to sit there and try to pretend just because you're a criminal defense attorney.
Yeah, the pressure would be bad.
Right. And it doesn't look good because they're going to go tell their families.
Yeah.
This guy is only, he's not for the truth. He's not for justice or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So for a law student that's coming out of law school and they want to become a great trial lawyer, what do you recommend they do to start their career?
Join the residency, whether you're on the public defender side or you're on the prosecutor side. That's the first thing that I would do. If anybody came up to me and told me they wanted to be a trial attorney, you have to go work at the state. You have to do it. Even if you want to be a civil attorney, in my opinion, because what's difficult to learn is who you are in court. Who is your person? How do you communicate with judges? How do you communicate with the prosecutors, opposing counsel, whatever? How do you manage stress, thinking quick on your feet? That stuff is a skill, and you have to practice it. You have to learn it, and you can only be in court to do that. What is easier to learn is the law. We just spent 3 years learning how to learn the law. So if you were to switch, like I did, from criminal to civil, it's much easier for you to learn the law than learn who you are in court. At that point, you're ready to be thrown into a trial. And that's what my bosses did. They were like, well, she's ready for trial. She just needs to know the law. Gave me 2 months. And at that time, the tort reform was happening. Yeah. And I learned that tort reform like the back of my hand. And that's it. Threw me right into trials. So that's what I would say, 100%. You need to join the residency if you want to be a trial attorney.
It's 1,000%. Everything you said is exactly what I tell every single law student. I tell them, like, if you want to be just even a litigator, like, go to the state attorney's office, go to the public defender's office. I mean, there may be a few other places, but you will never get that kind of trial experience anywhere. It doesn't matter where you go. I don't care. Like, even if you go to State Farm and they're trying a bunch of cases, they're not putting you in right away. Like, when you go to the state attorney's office or public defenders, they throw you in the fire. Day one, you're walking into a courtroom and the judge is bringing in a jury, and you have to get up there and start asking questions and do voir dire.
Day one, and you have no idea what you're doing. Nor does anybody else.
Yeah, that's the best part. But it also, like, I think it. We just brought in 2 law clerks from Nova, for the summer law clerks. I'm just excited that they're here. And I was telling them at lunch yesterday, it's like going to a state attorney or public defender's office is going to be the best career decision ever, because all of those people that you're meeting, they're the ones that are like, they're true trial lawyer litigator. And that's like a beginning of a career that the path is amazing. Because like when I look back at all the people that I was at the state attorney's office with, you got multiple judges, you have multiple partners at big firms, you have multiple like this, you have other, and these are all contacts and connections that you went through the fire together. Yeah, absolutely.
The first person from my incoming state attorney's class was just elevated to the bench. Jose Rahaidi. Fantastic.
Amazing. Yep.
Like, okay, it's happening. And those are the relationships that you build at the state attorney's office, even with all the judges that you're in front of.
Of course.
Right.
Yep.
Even if they're not from your class, you didn't ride the wave with them. You were practicing in front of them and they saw you, they know you by name.
Yeah.
Miss Castro, what can I help you with today? As soon as you walk in, it's that sort of thing. But even more than that, I was the type of state attorney that don't call me at my office. I'm like the Lincoln lawyer. That's what I call myself. I'm like, don't call me at my office. Text me, call me. And all of my defense attorneys that I worked with knew, text me, call me, and we will handle the case right there, right then.
Oh, I love it. That's great.
I was quick, easy, efficient, boom. I don't want to be this emailing. I'm not going to respond to your voicemail. Everybody has my cell phone number. So when I left the office and when I decided to start my own law firm, I had a Rolodex of like 120 defense attorneys that I worked with who all knew my work ethic, knew that I had integrity, respected me, and were happy. I sent like a mass text out to all of them. And they were all happy. I got, help me get on my feet, referrals, co-counseling on cases, all sorts of stuff. And even though you were on different sides at one point, what matters is what kind of reputation did you build for yourself while you were there?
Sure.
And so that has been my saving grace, my Rolodex of defense attorneys that I worked with while I was a prosecutor.
Yeah, it's one of those things also that the young lawyer who goes to the prosecutor or public defender, like, don't be overly zealous. You know what I mean? Like, when I first got to the state attorney's office, it was like, you know, trespassing, give them the year in prison, year in jail. You know what I mean? Like, you just like, you wanted to go gung ho. And then it's nice because it's sometimes like you'll get in front of a great judge, or like you'll meet another prosecutor and they're just like, hey, Eric, chill out. Okay. Yeah. Like, you don't have to, like, we're going to cut deals. They're going to get punished or whatever the thing is, but don't overdo. You know what I mean?
Nobody wants to work with you.
Yeah, no one wants to work with you. Exactly.
And the reason why I already originally thought that I wanted to be a criminal defense attorney if I ever were going to do criminal. Yeah. And my crim law professor would just, ever since he met me from day one, you have to be a prosecutor. You have to be a prosecutor. He would always tell me, Chloe, you have to be a prosecutor. Finally, I did that externship at the DA's office. And in that externship, it really hit me why I needed to be a prosecutor and not a defense attorney at that time. And it was because I was tasked with making an argument that would ultimately get this defendant deported. And this was like everything that's happening now. And I did, and I won. I did my job. I did it well. But I couldn't sleep for days after that.
Really?
And I was thinking, oh my gosh, I am in the position with the most power in the courtroom. I am in the position to either help or hurt this person. And I trust my integrity, and I trust my gut, and I knew that I would be a good person for that job, because I intended to do things fairly. And I also came with it from the perspective of somebody who wanted to be a criminal defense attorney. So every time I got an affidavit, I'm questioning both sides of the argument.
Smart.
The whole time through.
Having that background, though, I mean, as far as being a prosecutor and then switching to criminal defense, I mean, it's priceless. I mean, how has it helped you?
Well, first and foremost, in my analysis of my cases, in the way that I prep my cases, to be prepared for every argument that I can think of that's going to be on the other side. More than that, the ability to get creative with resolutions to cases is something that you kind of have to have done it in order to know what are the options out there. There really is an infinite number of options that you can contract for, right? And that's the same thing in criminal law. Like, if you're going to make a plea agreement, it's a contract at the end of the day. And so what can you contract for? I don't know, anything. Get really creative about it. And so now I know when I'm approaching a prosecutor, the type of demeanor, right? What kind of defense attorney did I want to work with? The annoying one? Or the one who's like, dude, no worries. Like, I understand you have a job. Like, it's nothing personal. Make your argument. It's all good. And then you leave there and you fist bump on the way out. Clients love it, because clients, and I thought it was going to serve negatively against me. But clients actually love that I worked for the state attorney's office when I give them that insight, and when they know that I have they think I have the in, because I'm buddies with them. But it could also serve against you. Some of them are like, oh, you're working with the state. Why are you so nice to the state? And it's like, dude, I just got your registration charge dismissed. Yeah. And your DUI dropped to a reckless. Let's go.
You're good to go. Yeah. No, I listen, and it's not that like these people are going to do you favors. It's just you have an in, and they know you, they respect you.
Exactly.
And you also, though, there is having the knowledge, I think, that internal workings of just the office itself. So like, I remember when I left the state attorney's office, I was there for about a year and a half. I broke my commitment, but either way, I left. Okay. And I opened up my own firm for like a very brief period of time. And I took like 2 or 3 criminal cases. And I remember I had one DUI that came in. And I remember that there's like this rule, like a notice for speedy trial. And there's a window. I don't know if the rules are still the same. But at the time, it's like if you filed this notice for speedy trial, like they had to get you to trial within a very short window. And I remember that like when I was at the state attorney's office, there was this flaw in the system of when they would stamp it through the window. It would go into this box. It would sit there for a period of time. Then some other person a week later would get it. And if you timed it right, it would sit there forever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I remember I literally went, with what I knew as far as how timing worked.
Yeah.
I got the thing stamped. I went in, they put it wherever they went, and I went and I waited and I waited and I waited. The time went by, and the next thing you know, I reached out and I said, guys, you missed the deadline. And they were like, what? They're like, you really did that? I'm like, listen, I have a job to do, you know? And they reduced to a reckless.
Yeah.
And so people need to understand having that insight of what the other side does is, I think it's
absolutely. That's an
priceless.
interesting point. The inner workings of the office, how it actually functions, knowing that there's a pre-file stage and that the pre-file attorney is probably not the same attorney as the one who's going to be assigned. And if you get to them early, you might be able to do
it's
things.
huge.
It's like, yeah,
huge.
absolutely.
Like domestic violence cases, you know, do you handle those?
I do.
Yeah. They're unfortunate cases. They're crazy cases.
They're terrible. I also do another along the lines of other types of cases, civil injunctions.
Yeah.
So civil, domestic, and cyber stalking injunctions, and it's like a glorified misdemeanor case, basically.
Yeah.
Typically, most of the time, and it's terrible. Those are worse for me than a normal misdemeanor because they involve children often. Mm-hmm. The children are being used against each parent. The child is being used as a pawn. And then they've got family law attorneys involved too. And family law attorneys, in my opinion, just can be a little slimy.
Oh,
and it's not pleasant working with them.
Family law attorneys are just another breed. I listen, I have a few friends. I have a few friends that are great. Like I love them. And I think they have a very hard job. I think there's a lot of pressure on the family law attorney because you have these people that have this emotional thing that's happening between this relationship and the children and money and finances, and it's like the pressure that must be on to be a family law attorney, and then the ones that are able to do it kind of calmly and collectively and strategically, but they are in a different world. Yeah,
it's totally a different world, and I mean I respect it. The strategy that I've seen with some of these attorneys, it's forethought. Like the forethought it's there, but but I prefer not to deal with those family cases because the thought of somebody's child custody rights being taken away, that keeps me up at night.
Oh yeah, of course.
For some reason I can deal with a homicide case, but if you talk about, stripping someone's rights of being able to be with their children, for me, it's like eats me up inside. I can't. And the amount of decompression time I need after those cases versus my criminal cases, substantially higher.
All right. So listen, you are in a high stress job as a lawyer, right? Yeah. We're all in stressful, high stress jobs. Yeah. You've chosen criminal defense law, which is definitely a high stress job. And I would think it becomes much higher stress than the state attorney's office. When you switch sides and you have people's lives kind of in your hand as opposed to it's the state. I mean, I guess you have victims. You have the victims that you're kind of pushing for. Mm-hmm. I mean, you are pushing for. But I think it's a high-stress gig. What do you do to decompress, to keep level-headed?
Yeah. I teach a spin class. I'm also a spin instructor, so I do that. Working out for me is huge, and praying for me is huge. I do a lot of praying, a lot of meditating. So those are really the two things for me, my two escapes. Love going to dinner with my girlfriends always helps. And I've got a big group of female attorney friends who, we all get together. We're all talking about decompressing and just sharing ideas and, opinions and, this judge did this and this judge did that or whatever. That's always nice too. Shark Tank, although I don't understand why they don't come out with more shows. They really need to be more consistent about it. But those are really my small.
You like Shark Tank? Okay.
Yeah, I will watch Shark Tank. I'll go to sleep and I'll wake up with a new invention in my head. It happens all the time.
I know, and then you got to do the pitch though. You got to figure out how to get it, off the ground.
I'm convinced that I came up with erasable highlighters. And I put it out in the ether, and then a few years later, I saw them on the shelf.
Oh, man.
I know.
That's pretty funny.
For law students, erasable highlighters, game changer.
So your network that you were talking about, are these the people that you kind of, like you said, you go out with, you have dinner with, you guys talk about different cases and stuff? Are they people that you knew from the state attorney's office? Like, what is this group that you got?
Yeah. So it's interesting because when I moved from Miami to Palm Beach, I left my entire network behind me. So I had no connections in Palm Beach. I didn't know anybody, didn't know any judges, didn't know any prosecutors. didn't know anyone. So I had to kind of build from the bottom and start up. And when I started my firm, I realized that I needed to do more by means of like networking, going out there and putting my name out there, my firm name out there. And through those things, getting on committees for legal organizations and stuff like that, through those things, you meet people that are like-minded, also business owners, also are dealing with the same things you're dealing with, and are also normal people, and so you build bonds with them the way you would have at the state attorney's office, because you're with those people every day. And but this in a different way, like I saw Monica Ashak this morning in court, and that's one of my good girlfriends. So we run into each other all the time in work, but when we can, it's good to have a group of people that understand. You want to talk about your cases sometimes to an extent, to the extent that you can talk about your cases. But not everybody understands how to soundboard with you.
Yeah, of course.
You have to be an attorney.
No, it's nice to have people to round table stuff with, just to sit, even like in my firm, because I'm kind of like, I'm the senior, I'm the owner, I'm the senior. And so like all the associates, they're coming to me with all the questions and stuff. And I think I've become, with enough experience, where like 99% of decisions I'm very quick in making. Yeah. Just from handling so many cases. But there are times where it's like, I want to roundtable with this with somebody, and it's really important to have at least a few people that like you can trust, that you can reach out to, that are either senior to you or maybe they've been through it before, so you can get that good feedback and make a decision and go, Oh,
absolutely. I'm also in like a massive criminal defense attorney group chat for attorneys in South Florida.
That's probably good. Is it on is it how do you stay connected? Is it WhatsApp? Is it Facebook?
We use WhatsApp. Yeah. On ours we use WhatsApp, and every single day. I mean, that chat goes off more than any of my other chats.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Every single day there's a new legal question, a new this, a new that.
How often are you looking at it?
Every day.
Really?
Oh, multiple times a day.
Really?
Yeah. And I also do a lot of coverage work for my buddies from Miami.
Yeah,
so
sure.
They're like,
anyone there?
Need someone in Palm Beach. That has been a blessing. And being able to learn from others, because what we know in this job is that we really don't know everything.
Oh, yeah.
Every day, every case for me brings up a new question, a new issue, a new something that I haven't done before, but somebody has.
It's I think it's like one of the most rewarding, best things about our job is like every day is different. And then there's something new that's going to happen. Like, and you just like, never happened before, like you're in trial and all of a sudden something happens. You're like, that never happened before, and you got to navigate it, or like just some nuanced thing that happens in jury selection. Like, for instance, the judge is like, no, you don't have any more peremptory challenges. But judge, I have more peremptory. Well, too bad. Judge, we're moving for cause. It's like, it's something new and exciting. That's why, I encourage people to go to law school. I mean, I think there's a lot of lawyers that are like, don't do it. I do encourage it if you really have a passion to learn it and do good things with it.
Yeah.
If it's just something like, I'm just going to do it, I think you're going to be more miserable with your career, because it's not an easy job.
Yeah. I would agree 100%. I mentor a lot of young women from high school through law school who are interested or going through, the process of becoming an attorney. And I tell them all, this is something that I only recommend you doing if you have a passion for advocacy, if you really feel like you want to make a change, or if you really feel like this is your calling. But otherwise, you have to keep in mind that student loans are going to be there. Mm-hmm. That's the first thing that I put in everyone's mind, because I've still got them.
Yeah.
I'm still paying off my student loans, and I will be for the indefinite future. So it's not something to be taken lightly. I think that today there are so many creative ways to make money that don't include having a degree. So, whether that's starting a business, being an entrepreneur, whatever, getting creative, finding what's missing in the system, whatever system it is that you're in, whether it's social media or whatever, there's so many ways to make money. So if you're not like dead set on being an attorney, I would say do something else.
Yeah, pick up a great book and like figure out, get like a fire lit. That's a good point. It brings me into, so you left the state attorney's office. I know you worked in civil for a period of time, right?
I did.
Doing defense work. And then you decided some fire, like you had something lit a fire.
Yeah.
What was it that said, all right, I left the state attorney's office. I got the trial skills. I've done some work in civil defense. I've got some civil experience. What was that lit the fire to say, I'm opening my own business?
Yeah. It comes with the fire, and it also comes with the fear. This whole process of deciding to go out on your own. The fire for me was being my own boss, building that flexibility. I would be at work and I'm like, I don't like having to ask for time off. I don't like having to let people know where I am at all times. I don't like having to clock in at this time and out at this time. I just don't like that. And so I wanted a different life for myself, and I thought I could just build it. And, that idea is great. It's grand. It's awesome. Great. I'm going to start a law firm. But when you think about, okay, I have to pay for my own health insurance now. Okay, I have to figure out how to do this. Okay, I have to get an incorporation. Do I want an S corp? Do I want this and that? And then the biggest fear, which will haunt you for a while, is, am I going to make the bills?
Yeah.
Am I going to make the bills? Am I going to get clients? Am I this and that? And that's, still every so often there are months. In my business, you can have a case that'll take you 3 or 4 months. And maybe in those 3 or 4 months, you don't get a new case.
Yeah.
So, you still have those thoughts. But I am of the belief that God always provides. And every single time that I've been like, oh, we're getting close here. Are we going to make it? Boom. I mean, God has come through for me with a case whenever I needed it.
Yeah, it is. I think the law firm owner, like the number one thing is bringing in cases. Because like if you look at anything else, right? Like you're saying, oh, there's a worry about the bills. Are these bills going to be paid? It comes back to, do we have enough cases to work on so that we can help people generate fees, grow the business, pay off the bills? You know what I mean? And it's the most critical thing, I think, in any law firm is generating new cases.
Right. And then, that you run the risk of pricing yourself out at some point, right? Have you spread yourself too thin and you can accept more cases, but you've only charged so much, you've only quoted so much. So there's a whole learning curve to starting a law firm. But any of my girlfriends, most of the people that have come to me for advice on that, I've told them all, yes, absolutely do it yesterday, right? You should have already started this. And it's a small nominal investment, I think, up front to really start your firm, maybe a couple $1,000s, maybe $5,000. And then you can really do it.
You have a lot more guts than I did. Okay.
Why? You did it yourself.
But there's a difference.
Twice.
There's a difference when I look at your trajectory. The risk that you took was far more than the risk I took a big risk, but I also had 11 years of growing, like making money in a law firm, having a lot of being able to set aside enough to where I said, if God forbid everything fails, I'm going to be okay for a period of time. You had the situation where you're going from state attorneys where you're probably breaking even, right? Because they're not paying you much.
That was negative.
Then you're doing okay probably at the law firm for about a year, but not much saved up. And then you go, okay, let's invest $4,000. It's a different, that's crazy. You took a massive, massive risk.
Yeah.
But it was worth it.
It was worth it, and I wish I did it sooner. And the fear is the only thing that will hold you back. That's it. And once you convince yourself that you can do it and you believe in yourself, you'll do it.
I think anyone can do it. I don't recommend everyone does it, though.
Yeah.
I'm convinced, and I was just talking to a buddy of mine the other day, and I know a few. They work at a law firm, and I've said to them, like, hey, you can, get out, open your own thing. It's like they don't want to worry about the administrative. They don't want to worry about human resources. They don't want to worry about marketing. They just want to be a lawyer. They just want to get up, show up, litigate, deal with the cases, and don't worry about the noise of all the other stuff. Because I was a trial lawyer for 11 years. That's all I did. I didn't have to worry about bringing cases in. I just had to worry about going into court and winning.
Yeah.
Right. And then when I left there, the shock of, okay, I don't have health insurance, right? I don't have my corner office is gone. I've lost all my benefits, all my bonuses. I have no salary. Yeah. You know what I mean? I got nothing. And all I have now is to try to learn how to be a marketer, a rainmaker, bring in business, and at the same time work on cases. It's a heavy load, you know, and some people like you, it sounds like there's the fear, but I'm willing to take it on, and it's exciting to me. I think some people don't look at it like that. And I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I think it's a good thing, because everyone has a different balance in their life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I disagree to an extent, because I don't think everybody can do it. I think that it takes a type of person to do it, and it takes a risk taker. It takes somebody who's not afraid to fail. A lot of times in our profession, and this plagues professionals across the board generally, right? Yeah. This fear, because we are such studiers, and we are so want to get it right and rule-based that we can't see breaking out of that mold. It's very hard for somebody to see breaking out of a mold that's already been built for you. And the practice of law, the way that it had been done for years and years and years prior, it was institutionalized, right? You had your big brown bookshelves and your big old desk and your books behind you, and you'd show up and you'd always wear a suit and this and that. But breaking out of that mold is so important. I don't have overhead. I don't have an office. I have a virtual office. I practice out of my house primarily. Yeah. There's so many things these days that we can do that were not normal back then.
Sure.
But I think it takes a type of person who's willing to change the standard for themselves. I saw a different mold. That mold didn't fit me.
Yeah.
But I wasn't afraid I was afraid to take that risk, but I took it anyway. And so I think that people who are professionals specifically can benefit from letting go. It's a control thing for us, right? It's like, I don't know. It's all up in the air. There's so much up in the air. And you just kind of have to let go and let God and let the chips fall where they fall, and, hope for the best.
Yeah.
And it's a scary world to be in, but I think it does take the type of person who, because if not, you'll drive yourself crazy. You won't sleep.
When did you take the jump? When did you open the firm? It was a couple years ago?
August of 2024. It'll be 2 years in August this year. And for the first year, this is very interesting. For the first year of my business, from August to August, literally to the day, I didn't invest a lot in my business. I didn't market myself. I didn't do anything like that. I just took whatever came, because at that time, I just had a different life circumstance.
Yeah.
I was with a partner who didn't want me to go on business meetings with men and stuff like that. The majority of the legal industry is men. Yeah. So, I very much didn't do the things that I needed to do to promote my business. And I was okay with that at that time. But once that ended, it has been a year. And what I have accomplished, almost a year, and what I've accomplished in almost a year of just doing the job, putting yourself out there, going to the events, getting on the board of organizations, communicating with judges, going out of your way and asking a judge, do you have any advice for me on how I performed? Anything like that. Those are the things that are going to take your business to the next level. Was there any like books or anything that kind of lit the fire or said, hey, this is like a podcast, something like that like this has really helped my business grow or understand the business? There were no books that I can attribute to that, but I can say that one of my favorite books that has helped me in law and still does is the negotiation book by, who's the guy that used to be the famous
is the FBI guy?
Hostage negotiator.
Yeah, it's a great one. Never Split the Difference.
Never
is the book.
Split the Difference. Yeah. Phenomenal book. Yeah. That book has helped me. It still helps me every day.
I really use only one thing from that book.
What is it?
He has a way of whenever negotiations kind of seem to be done or no one's responding to each other, there's a question that you ask: has the carrier or has the other person given up trying to get it resolved? You open the dialogue. You're not saying you're not kind of going to them with an offer or whatever. You're just saying, so he has that question, have you given up trying to get this settled? Have you given up trying to get this resolved?
Yes.
And then it puts it in their court. And then usually you get an answer, no, I'm still waiting to talk to them or whatever. There's a meeting scheduled, such and such. That's like a one little tool. But I love the tools in that book. I mean, there's a lot of like the mirroring stuff he does.
I picked up two. The two that I love and use are when you say something that you think is going to be hard for the other person to digest, don't say anything afterward. Literally say it and remain silent.
That's a good idea.
For like at least 7 seconds, because they're going to want to fill up the void. They're going to say something, and otherwise you're going to end up stepping on your own toes and being like, oh, well, I can do this for you instead. But no, hold firm, stay silent. The other one that I learned from him that I love in this one, crazy how it works. Yeah. If you're talking numbers, end your last number, end it with an odd at the end. 24,670.63. Yeah. And they're like, psychologically, they're like, wow, he's 63. This guy's gassed out of money. He's got nothing else.
That's so funny.
Yeah. And I use that even when I was negotiating like plea offers, prison sentences and stuff.
17.3 years.
Right. 0.3 months in state prison.
4 years,
yeah. So those are the two things I picked up from that one.
That's a good book. There's a lot of good stuff out there about, growing the business and stuff and the operating of the business. I read a book. The one book that got me like fired up, it was by this guy Tim Ferriss. He has a really good podcast, but it was called Tools of Titans, and it was about it's a compilation of a bunch of like where he interviews these like top performers in all different types of industries, finance and sports and whatever. But there was something in that book, I'd have to look back at it, but there was a fire that was lit for entrepreneurship.
Yeah,
that's
awesome.
That kind of got me to make a decision. Like I had grinded for 11 years at this firm. I was, a lead trial lawyer there, and you get to a point where you built a reputation, and it was time to jump ship.
I think you have to have like this a little bit of like sense of grandiose too. Like you kind of have to be like, me, especially 5 years into my career, kind of like coming out like, I can run a firm. I can, do all this on my own.
I like that, grandiosity.
A little bit of grandiosity about it, which at that point you probably were like, I mean, how many trials have I won in 11 years? I've been killing this. Yeah. And, you knew you could do it.
Yeah. It's funny though. I actually, it took me several months to finally thinking about it a little bit, but like it wasn't there. And then kind of towards the end of the year, then something kind of struck and it was like a light switch. And I was like, I'm doing this. But I for probably a year before I made the move, I did like a pro and con list. You know what I mean? I really sat down and thought about like, okay, this is what I have here. This is what it could look like if I stay. This is what it could look like. And I knew, and then eventually when I made the decision, I knew like in my heart, I said to myself, I'm going to make way less money. Maybe at some point I'll make more money, I'm going to make less money. I'm going to have less benefits. I'm going to have less this, but I'll be able to see my kids more, and I'll be able to make decisions as far as vacations differently, right? But the slight difference was what I mentioned before was when I made the move, I had money to invest in, like already brought my paralegal with me, and that helped so much because it was like, for anyone that's taking that risk, right? I mean, being able to invest a small amount, it just may take longer. But if you have someone that can help you, that you can pay to kind of handle the legal stuff, right? Like, I just need to get cases. And then if I can get cases, I can delegate that stuff out and focus on getting cases. And that's what I did. I was able to brought a paralegal with me. World shut down, and then I started figuring out I got to get cases. I started like the marketing as much as I possibly could, and I got to pay her. Yes, and her benefits and everything. It was like a whole thing.
The stress.
Yeah, and so, but somehow, fortunately, like from people that I made contacts with over the years, some people started referring me cases, and I was able to get my paralegal to be working on those cases every day. We'd have a Zoom meeting in the morning, and she'd just take off, and then the rest of the day I'd be cutting up videos and stuff, and reaching out to people. And I remember, marketing and building that network is so important. I remember in COVID. None of us were like, it was really hard to even stay connected with people. And I had I actually hired a coach, like a law firm coach. And we sat down to brainstorm ideas, and we came up with this idea I ordered, I think, 100 s'mores kits off of Amazon, and I sent them to every single person I knew that summer. And it was like, and everyone started to reach out and be like, oh my God, that was so cool. And they're sending pictures and they're posting it on the internet and stuff. And it was
That's
like,
so cool.
Yeah, and it was like kind of like this little gift thing of like staying in touch.
Yeah.
Those little things can really make a big difference.
Absolutely. Even with like firms that like really value their referral attorneys.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't practice family law.
Yeah.
I don't practice immigration. So I've got, attorneys
People
in
that you
those
send,
pockets, and whenever I'll just send them that way. And just the smallest thought, they will send honey with a, cutting board that's got my
I'm writing
firm's
honey
name on
down.
it.
Write that down. We're writing honey down.
Honey
in we did cutting boards.
Personalized cutting board. See, just like the
For
smallest things, and that it says so much. It says, I remember that I remember who you are, and I remember what you're doing. Thank you for helping us out. Let's maintain this relationship.
What has been the most important thing to help you get new cases for your business? That's like this is the Rainmakers Network podcast. We got to figure out.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to share with people. Like, how have you built how do you bring in cases?
Yeah. I think that aside from most of my cases come in through referrals, but I think that you can have 1,000 referrals in the world, but that doesn't mean you're going to land them all.
Sure.
So for me, the biggest thing to take my firm to the next level was mastering my pitch, mastering how I communicate with clients.
Mm-hmm.
That was massive for me, and it completely changed the game, because there were a few referrals that I was getting there, decent cases where I was talking to them, being very attentive and what can I do for you? And it gives off an energy. It gives off it gives off an energy that doesn't make clients feel safe or confident. And so when I learned how to master my pitch to clients, whatever case you're bringing me, that is when truly my revenue started to increase.
Tell me how you, and again, I don't want to hear the pitch, but I want to know how you figured out, how you dial it in. Was it a combination of speaking with other people? Was it a combination of working on it over and over again? What was it?
I mean, practice. Again, we're in the practice of law. Again,
Yeah.
Every day we're learning something new. So that's part of why we call it that. But I think practice, really, I had to bomb a handful of them. And I knew that it was my pitch. So I would tweak my pitch along the way every time. See, maybe this will work. Maybe this will work. And, I figured that, some stuff was working, some stuff wasn't working. And as I was able to kind of filter the stuff that wasn't working, I ended up being left with a pitch that was very successful. And I think what it comes down to is instilling a sense of confidence in your client that they can feel like their case is in good hands. They're going to be taken care of. I love to tell my clients, like, look, buckle up. This isn't short.
Yeah.
You're going to be here for a while. It's a long ride. But in my practice, you have direct contact to me. My clients have my cell phone number. My cell phone number's on my card.
Yeah.
My phone's constantly going off. But when you let them know that you're just a text message away, if I don't answer, I might be in court, text me, I'll text you back.
Yeah.
Those things, it's really instilling the confidence in your client that they can feel like walking away, they can feel like, oh, I got a great attorney. Oh, I know my case is in good hands. It's building that sort of energy in the conversation that you're having with them that wins them over.
I love that. I love that. It's the confidence you have in yourself and the confidence to help somebody, and then also the access.
Absolutely. The access has been huge. I've noticed my clients love that they have direct access.
Yeah, I mean, it's not, listen, and I don't even know how some of these law firms operate. I was calling another law firm yesterday, and phone just rings. Then it goes to like a voicemail. Then it says press 1 or whatever, and you can't get in touch with anybody. But then you look for the person's email, and it's like the email's not even the right email. It's like a blanket email to the firm, and it's like this isn't a doctor's office. This isn't like where you go and you sit and you wait for 2 hours to see the doctor, which is crazy that you think that we used to do that. I think to really grow and through the business, you have to be accessible. Every single time a new client calls, there's with the intake gathers some details and transfers over to one of the lawyers. That's it.
Yeah.
That's how we handle any new case.
Intake is huge, and I'm actually starting to ramp up my intake process because I'm losing tons of cases.
Yeah.
Just not having somebody there all the time. I can't be there all the time.
You should try Lex Reception. I don't know if you've tried Lex yet.
Yeah, I'm looking into it.
They're not that expensive, but as long as there's someone there that can answer the phone, that's a human being that can quickly gather some of the details and just say, okay, hey, you reached so-and-so. Tell me what type of case it is. When did it happen? And just give me about 10 minutes. We're going to have the attorney give you a call back.
Right.
It's already like that person's warm. Yep. They're there,
Right.
I think in the criminal context, again, if a person's calling from jail, they're calling the next person. Forget it.
I was going to say, look,
no
my
one's calling you
phone
back.
will go off on a Saturday night at 2:00 in the morning.
Yep.
And if you're not there to answer it, and those clients want to get out, right? They're going to pay your deposit. Those are the clients that you want to be there for. And you also want to show your clients that you're reliable, right? If my client gets booked overnight, and especially if it's a returning client, right? They call me, Chloe, oh my gosh, you're not going to believe it. They got me for this. And it's like, dude, don't worry. A lot of times I'm so thankful that my clients listen to me. And I don't know if it's the Instagram videos or what, but I have had 2 clients in the last year call me at a DUI stop.
Oh, really?
Prior to getting arrested.
They've called you.
At a DUI stop and been like, what do I do? And I'm like, tell them to book you.
I'm sorry I'm laughing. It's the word. It's so funny because it's such a hard situation for whoever it is that's in, and you're making a call. You're like, just tell them to book you.
You're going in for the night, depending on what it is. But for a DUI,
I'm sorry, I'm laughing. It's a catch-22 for whoever's getting pulled over.
It is the name of the game, right? This is justice. You
know?
know.
Yeah.
The way to justice is to limit the
evidence
amount
that they have.
Right. The amount of evidence that the state can use. The more you talk, the more you perform, the more you are in their visibility, the more they have. Period. And so as soon as you can strip them of that, don't worry, officer. I'm making new business cards that say exactly what to do so people can keep it in their pocket. But it's like, don't worry, officer. I don't want to answer any questions. I don't consent to anything. Go ahead and book me for the night. I've already called my attorney. There, you maybe do 13 hours.
Wow. And
then you're out, and you're probably going to really increase your chances of getting a dismissal or, some sort of
reckless, or dropping
amazing deal, right? Because they've got nothing to go on. You didn't blow. Yeah, nowadays, it should be known, nowadays, it is a misdemeanor to refuse, right? You're not only going to lose your license for a year, but you're going to be charged with a misdemeanor. But I'd rather take a misdemeanor for refusal to blow than a misdemeanor for DUI on my record.
Are there minimum mandatories on just the refusal? Like, because I know, like, if you plead to a DUI, like, it's going to be, I don't think they have to adjudicate. I think you can get a withhold of adjudication.
You can, yeah.
But I know, like, along with it, you're going to get driving course. You're going to get some other stuff. Is the refusal? I don't know if, because I'm just not up to date. But is there like a minimum thing on the refusal? Because you're going to eventually have to plead to the refusal. There's no way you're going to win that.
Right. I mean, you can in exchange for accepting the plea, maybe. I mean, it really depends who's your prosecutor, right? How much are they willing to play ball with a negotiation? How much of a rule follower are they?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So. Yeah,
I didn't know that they made that a misdemeanor now. So that's a big thing. I mean,
very recently, I've been doing a lot of videos about it because people don't know. I would still advise my clients to refuse.
Really?
You're gonna get another misdemeanor. They need to know that.
What about? And again, I always thought about this, and I want your take on it. Is like that person calls you up and says, "Listen, I was at a bar. I only had one drink." That's what they're gonna say. I love
that line.
I only had one drink. You know what I mean? Like, so should I just do it? And are you still gonna give this advice saying, get booked?
I don't care. Yes. The answer is absolutely yes.
It's bold and so it's counterintuitive. It's so counterintuitive, but who knows what that one beer is going to do?
Because you want to act like you're cooperating, right? Yeah. You want to be like, I don't want to be non-cooperative with the cops.
Yeah, of course.
And they don't, necessarily treat you so nice when you're not cooperative.
Yeah.
But we're not here to be friends with each other, right? They're not here to help you. they're here to arrest you.
They are. They're trying. They're doing everything they can to get whatever evidence they can against you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny that you bring up the DUI situation too, because I have this new idea. I bought a breathalyzer, and I bought a bunch of different like mouth application pieces, and I'm gonna go out on like Clematis Street
and
on a
people.
Friday night, and I'm just gonna see.
Do it.
Show
for
people.
social.
I'm gonna say, hey, did you? Yeah, for
you
social.
Better call Zach, get a videographer to go out there with you so you can get this thing live.
Yes.
Okay, and make it happen.
Did you Uber here? Did you drive? And then I'll give a couple Uber gift cards out, for those people who need them. But it's to show people that even one drink. However, if someone's so confident, they're like, no, I'm definitely not gonna blow over. It's like, well, it really depends.
And it's a low threshold. 0.08 is not like a whole lot, right?
0.08 is nothing.
Yeah.
It's nothing. And mind you, I have seen people with 4. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not 0.4. 4.2.
Oh my
4.3.
God. Yeah,
this is a deathly limit, basically.
Yeah.
Like some people would die of alcohol poisoning, and they're walking around thinking that they're good.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So it affects everybody differently. Your body, your metabolism, so many things go into it. Listerine will test positive.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't even roll the dice if I haven't had alcohol. I would me personally, I'm not advising any of my clients right now or anybody, but me personally, if I got pulled over for a DUI and I haven't even had alcohol, I would tell them to book me.
That's hardcore.
I would.
That's a hardcore criminal defense lawyer.
No, the hardest is
that's hardcore.
Young Thug's attorney, who was going to be held in contempt for calling out the judge on improper communications with opposing counsel.
I think I remember seeing that.
And he said, "All right, judge, I don't want to go in, but if you're gonna, at least can you put me in with my client so we can talk about case strategy?"
Man,
that's a hard attorney.
That's hardcore.
Yeah,
that's tough.
Yeah,
that's tough, man. That's pretty cool.
Sometimes you got to do it.
Only because I haven't drank in like 20 something years, I would take the breathalyzer. That's just me. Only because I'm not. I feel like I wouldn't have the risk. But gosh, I guess it's the caveat to this quick little segment is that this is Florida law.
Yes.
I was crazy because I used to post a couple of whenever you talk criminal law on social media, it blows up. Like people are very interested in learning about DUI stuff and about other criminal stuff. But I remember I posted one about the refusal and and all these people from like Texas are like, we'll just get the blood warrant. We'll just call over the judge and get the blood warrant. And I'm like, what the hell's a blood warrant? I looked it up. Apparently, you refuse in Texas, they go draw your blood forcibly.
Yeah, if you hear, and this is why I was upset that the cops in the recent Tiger Woods case didn't even think about taking him to the hospital, given the concussion that he absolutely had in that car.
Yeah.
But I gave a whole defense strategy. Like if I would have been representing Tiger Woods in the DUI, it would have been a straight PI strategy, straight up, rollover car accident, had a concussion, get an expert in. Those are similar symptoms of somebody who's under the influence. Get an accident reconstruction expert. This is how his body moved inside of the car. Yes, it's more than likely it's, that he hit his head in this fashion, whatever. I mean, it just sounds like the easiest case in the world to me. But the fact that they didn't take him to the hospital initially upset me because of my TBI idea. But then I said no, because if they did take him to the hospital, they would have certainly hooked him up to the machines. And if you are taken to the hospital, they can
check your blood.
They can access the blood that was drawn.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And they usually do that. I mean, I know like I've had plenty of like just personal injury cases where if there's a bad wreck, someone's brought to the hospital, all of a sudden you're digging through those records and they took a blood alcohol, and like you didn't even realize it.
That in criminal court too. So, and that's automatic. Like the hospital does it automatic.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing that he wasn't taken to the hospital, but he should have been seen. He should have gotten some treatment.
I wonder who he hired.
Me too.
Well, there you go. Wink, wink.
Me too, Tiger.
How do people find you? Okay, so I know you got this fantastic law firm. How do they find you? How do they get in touch with you? How do they call you? Just to reach out. If someone has a case across the board, criminal defense case.
Yeah, so I've got a website. I function through my cell phone number, as you heard earlier, 305-588-6646. It's been that way for the last 25 years.
What's your website?
www.cdlawpro.com. And I often forward people to my Instagram and my TikTok account too, which is just CD Law Pro. Try to keep it consistent. So I would say shoot me a call, shoot me a text is the best way to get in contact with me.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to check me out, I'm sure you can Google me, my website, check out my Instagram. There's lots of good, you know, criminal law information there. I really want people to know about their rights. Like that's the reason why I
really
started
important.
that
Yeah.
is I want to inform people what their rights are, because you get in that situation and you haven't even thought about it before in your lifetime and you don't know what to do. But if you maybe saw my video and you're like, oh, wait, I remember her talking about this, maybe you'll be able to coach your way through it. So yeah, that's what I would say. I'm going to be on a TV show in a few months here too.
Tell me about that. What's that?
It's called America's Top Lawyers.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And
very cool.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. I actually had some guys, I was visiting a client of mine in jail, and he was like, oh, they've been talking about you in here. And I was like,
America's
really?
Top
And he's
Lawyers,
like,
really?
yeah, man, your TV show, it's going to be cool. I was like, you guys do have internet.
That is super. That's cool. So is it like is it like a reality show, or is it more of like an interview style? What is it?
Yeah, so it's documentary style. It's
Okay.
interview style. So one episode, full episode, will be on me, my strategies, my take on entrepreneurship as a woman starting a law firm, and those things. And it'll also talk about, you know, how I got to where I am and how I kind of built those skills and strategies.
Very cool. Very
Yeah.
cool. I'm excited to see it.
Thank
Make sure you let
you.
me know like when it comes out and send me like the link and stuff. So
Absolutely. I'm
I
pumped
could say
about
I
it.
knew you when.
Yes, yes, absolutely. We did script writing like 2 weeks ago, and so I guess we're going to start filming in a few weeks here.
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, this has been awesome. Thank you for joining me on the Rainmakers Network podcast.
Thanks for
Learning
having
all
me.
about a new rainmaker in the neighborhood. And so do you take cases all through like West Palm, Broward?
Yeah, from
Dade.
Palm Beach, Broward, and Miami-Dade. I will do some Martin County cases.
Yeah.
Have been called for those, and I will take those, but predominantly West Palm, South Florida.
The
I would say.
Tri-County area.
Yeah, Tri-County area.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, this has been awesome. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks so much for having me. This has been a blast.
Awesome.